Hi, my name is Nate and I'm from EPT, and I'm the trainer that will be able to support you in rehabbing your shoulder injury after you've got a green light from our osteopath or our physiotherapist. Now, as you may have already seen before, a big part of the shoulder problem is like because they're kyphotic, which is a rounding of the shoulders at the top here. So what we're going to be looking to do on my part is to be able to basically strengthen all the muscles through the back, stretch all the muscles through the front, and increase or decrease this curvature so that way she comes up a little bit taller, so that way there's less pressure on the shoulder joint. And I'm going to show you that now. All right, so the first one we're going to do is we're going to create some mobility through her thoracic spine. And how we're going to do that is in each vertebrae there is obviously there's a disc. And what we want to do with that is actually create a little bit of movement between each vertebrae, so that way we can create a little bit of mobility in that spine. So when we start doing the strengthening exercises and as well as the stretching exercises, we can actually get a lot more movement in there to create a correction. So I'm going to get her to lie down on her back, so that way you can see what we're going to do. So where she's going to start pretty much near the base of the neck. She's going to support her neck with her hand, and she's going to exhale as she goes back over the foam roller there. And she'll hold that just for 3 to 4 seconds. And then when she comes up, she inhales and she pivots just on that point where the foam roller is. And then she'll exhale when she goes back again. She'll do that 3 or 4 times. And then what she's going to do is she's going to move herself up a little bit higher that way, just a little, just so that way she can do the same thing again on another vertebrae. So that what we do is we create that movement or mobility between each joint. Okay, now the next one I'm going to get you to do is when we have tight through the neck, through the shoulders, we get tight through our neck. So what I'm going to demonstrate is just a couple of neck stretches to be able to alleviate some of this pressure, because when we alleviate the pressure from here, we actually start to pull the shoulder blades back. Our head weighs around 10% of our body weight, so it is a lot of pressure on that shoulder joint. So here's what we're going to do. Turn around and face the screen. So what she's going to do is she's just going to sit on one hand, sit up nice and straight, sit on one hand, and then she's going to grab the head and just gently pull it over to the side here. And she's going to get a bit of a stretch through the sternocleidomastoid, which, like I said, is one of those muscles that'll pull her head forward and put pressure on a shoulder joint. So we want to be able to stretch that. And you're going to hold this around 5 to 10 seconds. The deal is that with the neck, there's not a lot of spindle fibers in there. So we don't want to hold the stretch for too long. Change sides. Now you'll find maybe one side tighter than the other. Generally the side that's tighter is usually the side where we've got the shoulder issues, but not always. So just be wary that if you are tighter on one side, you want to do a little bit more stretching on one side more than the other. Okay. Now another neck stretch that you want to do as well is you want to do a levator scapula. So she'll place one hand up over the top of the shoulder, she'll grab hold of her shirt, she'll be able to tilt her head just on an angle here, and then just drop the head forward on that angle, and then she'll start to stretch through the neck. Now, if you do feel a pain through that shoulder, what you can actually do is you can drop that shoulder down, keep that head on that angle there, grab the back of the head with a hand, and just gently pull it down on that angle there. And now change the other side. It's like as if you're tilting down and you're trying to smell your armpit. That's where you want to get it. All right, so the next one you want to be able to do is you want to stretch to the chest, because generally the pec major and the pec minor are tight when that shoulder joint's tight as well. So what I'm going to get her to do is I'm going to demonstrate a chest stretch, so that way we can really stretch through those joints. So she places her hand on top of the ball. She just gently drops her body down towards the floor. And then as that shoulder goes past the elbow, you'll find that she'll start to feel that stretch to that shoulder joint. Feel that stretch?
Yes.
Great. Okay, now you can also play with it a little bit as well, where you can just glide that shoulder, that elbow up towards your head, and that may increase the stretch. But just be careful, we don't want any sharp pain. All we want is a gentle stretch there. And then what you'll do is you'll just repeat on the other side. So you've got to remember there's 3 things that you need to do when you're rehabbing your shoulder. is the first one, you need to be able to get mobility through that shoulder. The second one, you want to get flexibility through it. And then the third, you want to build strength. Now, once we've built that flexibility and mobility through the shoulder joint, now what we want to do is go into that strength component. And I'm going to show you a couple of exercises now that will be able to strengthen that shoulder joint. The first one we're going to do is an upright row. Now, very different to the normal bench press and the bodybuilding upright row. You'll find that the elbows will only go up to shoulder height. So go on, off we go. It'll only go up to here. Shoulder blades down, chest up nice and proud, and posture is super important. Drop it back down again. And as you notice, bring it back up again, you'll notice that the elbow is also not putting a lot of pressure through it. The dumbbells are in, they're out rather than in. Okay, drop it back down again. And you'll notice the shoulders, as you go up, you'll find that the shoulders will shrug up a little bit. You want to be able to keep them down as much as you can. Okay, so the next one we want to be able to do is we want to be able to strengthen the rotator cuff. Now, there's 4 muscles in the rotator cuff, and what we need to be able to do is get a balance between those. Now, the rotator cuff goes in and it goes in outwards. And I'm going to show you a couple of exercises that you're going to be able to do to be able to strengthen that rotator cuff. Now, the first one we're going to do is we place that just underneath her armpit. And then what you do is you grab hold of the handle, and then from this position there, she'll rotate her hand outwards, meanwhile keeping that towel underneath her shoulder there, and it doesn't drop out. She'll just rotate that out as far as she can, but making sure the towel stays there. Now the next one is going inwards, going around, and what you'll do is she'll rotate the hand inwards as opposed to going outwards. That is strengthening her other parts of the rotator cuff, so that way we can actually strengthen on both. Now bear in mind, with the rotator cuff, it must be balanced. In other words, it must be even. Even though that this generally is stronger with most people, it's got to be the same strength as this way, as well as going outwards. So your final exercise that I'm going to show you is a lateral raise. And the idea is to be able to build strength through the deltoids, through the medial deltoids. And how are you going to do that? Bear in mind though, is if you do experience pain, operate within the pain. As in, if you experience pain at this height, take them a little lower, okay? And then you work through that. So the goal of this exercise is to be able to make it all the way up to here. If there is no pain, then you turn your hands over, and then you start bringing them all the way up to the top. And if you still don't experience pain, you get them to the top, and then you come back down again, and then you turn it over, and then you bring it back down again. Now bear in mind that if you do feel any sharp pain, work within that pain. So as I said, if you feel pain up here, then what you'll do is you'll lower it a little bit, so that way you don't experience pain, but those muscles will start to build. And then after about a 4 to 6 week period, you'll find that you'll be able to go higher than what you were able to go before, which is what we're trying to do. We're trying to get the full range of motion through those shoulders, build on those shoulders, and also, we also want to be able to get those scapulars moving at the back here as well. Okay? So, for any more details or any more information that you need, then just post below, and then I'll be able to support you and be able to give you the right rehabilitation program for your shoulder. Thank you for watching. My name is Nate, and I'm from EPT.